Hey everybody, welcome to Mammoth Interactive's YouTube channel. First of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. And remember that this channel doesn't do Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital courses down below. And every single dollar that we get from the products you buy below goes into making more content. The best way to help out this channel and Mammoth Interactive is to subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. Get thousands of hours and hundreds of courses for a low price down below. We have a monthly option and a yearly option. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the video.
Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this lecture, we are discussing what is the Cardano blockchain. The Cardano blockchain is an open source proof-of-stake blockchain project. It's open source, meaning it is free and continuously being developed by the community. It uses the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism for how it decides what gets added to the blockchain and how blocks are encrypted, as well as how we can sync up the nodes. The project began in 2015 with a lot of research, and finally it has been made into a hands-on software project. The Cardano blockchain was designed to address existing blockchain challenges in the design and development of cryptocurrencies. The goals of Cardano were to provide a more balanced and sustainable ecosystem that accounts for the needs of users and other systems seeking blockchain integration. Cardano uses patent-free protocols to store, transform, and manage value, identity, and governance. Let's discuss Bitcoin versus Ethereum versus Cardano. The Bitcoin blockchain was the first generation of blockchains created back in 2008. Bitcoin offered decentralized ledgers for secure cryptocurrency transfer and is still the biggest blockchain being used. However, the Bitcoin blockchain did not provide a functional environment for complex deal settlement or for building decentralized software like dApps. There was no way to take a piece of software and connect it to the blockchain. Then came the Ethereum blockchain, which did allow for building software that can connect to the blockchain. Ethereum is the most popular blockchain for smart contracts or decentralized applications and autonomous code that can interact and live on the blockchain. Ethereum provided more enhanced solutions with its smart contracts, which are self-executing pieces of code. That means the user can trust the contract living on the blockchain to execute autonomously. With Ethereum, you can build decentralized applications and create different token types. However, Ethereum is not perfect, as is no blockchain. It does have issues, such as issues with scaling. Cardano is a third-generation blockchain. It was designed to combine the properties of previous generations and evolve to meet needs and improve upon problems and solve issues. So it's an improvement on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Join me coming up next. We're going to discuss what can you do, what projects can you build with Cardano. Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this lecture, we are discussing what can you do with the Cardano blockchain. On Cardano, you can send and receive native tokens. This is ADA coin on Cardano. Just like the Bitcoin cryptocurrency is the native coin on the Bitcoin blockchain, and the ETH cryptocurrency is the native currency on the Ethereum blockchain. On Cardano, you can delegate your ADA and earn rewards. You can also vote with your ADA on decisions and in decentralized autonomous organizations and earn rewards. You can participate in Cardano improvement protocols to vote on and suggest improvements, and you can interact and build smart contracts. So just like on Ethereum, you can build smart contracts on Cardano in order to have self-executing pieces of code that live on the blockchain that anyone can interact with. As well, with Cardano, you can integrate the blockchain into existing websites and services. You can build dApps that interact with the Cardano blockchain and Cardano wallets and ADA cryptocurrency. On Cardano, you can issue native tokens and NFTs. You can issue fungible tokens or coins, as well as non-fungible tokens. You can prove the existence of a file at a specific point in time with Cardano's transaction metadata. You can validate and verify external physical products and genuine articles. You can set up, manage, and maintain a stake pool, and you can build smart contracts. Let's talk about some of the features of Cardano. What makes a good blockchain in general? A blockchain should have high security. It should be tamper-proof and avoid and prevent hacks as much as possible. As well, a good blockchain should be scalable. It should be able to handle its number of transactions should they increase. The blockchain should have and be able to handle the transaction throughput and scale with data, as well as network bandwidth. A good blockchain should have good functionality. It should enable transaction processing and all means of business deals. A good blockchain should be sustainable. It should be able to be improved and work in the future, and it should be constantly improving. There should be a strong community and developers who are working on the blockchain. As well, a good blockchain should be interoperable with other blockchains and financial institutions, software, and other companies across different industries. Cardano meets these requirements and has a lot of benefits to use. For example, Cardano is scalable. The ledger can process many transactions without affecting performance. So even if Cardano gets a flood of transactions or the transaction numbers and popularity increase, Cardano can handle that increase of scale. As well, Cardano has higher bandwidth capabilities than other blockchains. Cardano is interoperable. It is the most multifunctional environment for financial, business, or commercial operations. Cardano enables users to interact with multiple currencies across various blockchains. Cardano is sustainable. The community has a role in development. You can vote and suggest changes as well as build changes. There is a treasury that is refilled from minted coins, stake pool rewards, and transaction fees to fund the development. Cardano has better infrastructure to build products than other blockchains. Cardano is faster, more secure, and cost-effective. There is accurate cost predictability for transactions and no auctions for transaction fees, which is unique to Cardano. As well, there's a venture fund, so you can get your project funded potentially by the Cardano Venture Fund. Cardano uses the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism or consensus protocol, which means it uses less energy and computational power than other blockchains using something like proof of work in its consensus mechanism, which is how blocks get added and transactions get processed. Cardano was built with high assurance formal development methods and peer-reviewed papers. It started off as a research project and then went into software. Cardano has a large community for support and questions. If you have any problems, the leading platforms for support are Stack Exchange and the Cardano Forum. As well, there is the Cardano Discord, Reddit, t.me, IOG, as well as for Haskell Marlowe for programming and the developer portal, and meetings for proposing new ideas. So there's a huge Cardano community. Join me coming up next. We're going to discuss what are native tokens on the Cardano blockchain. Hello everyone and welcome back to our course. In this lecture, we are discussing what are native tokens or native assets on the Cardano blockchain. Cardano has the unique ability to create, interact with, and delete tokens or assets natively. Natively means you can interact with custom assets right out of the box without smart contracts. Native assets are treated almost like ADA, the native coin of the Cardano blockchain. A fee must always be paid when you're issuing a transaction or sending something on the Cardano blockchain. For example, to send a token, you must include at least one ADA in the transaction. Some characteristics of the native token, the characteristics that one token will contain, are first its amount or value, its name, which can be shared with other tokens, and its unique policy ID, which cannot be shared with any other native token. You can also attach metadata with each transaction that you sign on the Cardano blockchain. And that's an overview of native tokens. Join me coming up next. We're going to get into our prerequisites and then jump into interacting with the Cardano blockchain from our computer. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're discussing what is brew, short for Homebrew. Note that Homebrew is only for Mac or Linux, so you don't need brew on Windows. The official website for Homebrew is brew.sh. Here you can read more about Brew and its documentation. Homebrew is the missing package manager for macOS and Linux. Homebrew allows you to install the tools that Apple doesn't have or Linux doesn't have on its operating system. So you can install extra packages. You can install files with Homebrew, install tools with Homebrew, like Git. So Homebrew is a very popular package that is used to install other packages quite easily for Mac or Linux. So that is the official Brew webpage. Brew is the easiest and most flexible way to install the Unix tools that Apple didn't include with macOS and that Linux doesn't include by default. You can also install software not packaged for Linux without requiring sudo. To read more about the installation, you can go to docs.brew.sh/installation. This is the official website for Homebrew, and it discusses requirements and installation details. If you have any questions, hop over to the Homebrew GitHub. Over there, you can see different issues that developers are having, questions, bugs, and of course, search up your questions online as well. So that is Brew. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're learning how to install Brew on a Mac computer. Note that Homebrew is compatible with any Apple computer, whether it is an Intel chip or an M1 chip. You can install Brew on Mac or Linux by following the instructions at brew.sh, the official website for Homebrew. Here on the homepage of the Homebrew website, there is a command that you can use to install Homebrew. You just have to hit the copy icon or copy this command manually, then paste the command into a macOS terminal or a Linux terminal. So you open up the terminal application on your computer. This is an application that is included by default on every Mac computer. So it's included in your applications. You just have to search for terminal. Then in that terminal, you want to paste in the command. This command is using bash, and it's going to run a curl command. Here it is going to access at GitHub Homebrew, and it's using an install script. So this is the installation script for Homebrew. Then hit enter, and here you may have to pass in your computer password because this Homebrew is going to install globally on the computer, so you have to give administrator permission for that installation. So enter in the password for your computer and then hit enter. If the password is correct, you'll see the message, this script will install Homebrew and its folders. So there are several folders that make up Homebrew. Press return to continue or any other key to abort. So hit enter to continue. This is going to start the download and installation process for Homebrew, and it shouldn't take very long. So it's pulling Homebrew from GitHub. You should see a message, installation successful. Homebrew has enabled anonymous aggregate formulae and cache analytics. Homebrew is run entirely by volunteers. The next steps that you can take are to add Homebrew to your path. So you can run the following two commands, which you can just copy all in one and paste them in. This will allow you to access Homebrew via its keyword brew. So if you type in brew now in any terminal, you should see a list of examples of what you can do with brew. And this will work even if you create a new terminal. If you're having issues with accessing brew in this terminal or a new terminal window, then search up your problem online. Make sure also that you added Homebrew to your environment variables with these two lines. These two lines enable you to use the brew keyword. All right, so now you have brew installed. You can check your version of brew with brew -- version. Currently, I'm using brew 3.4.1. And just like that, you can install Homebrew on Mac and Linux. The command is the same. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're discussing what is Git. The official website for Git is git-scm.com. Here you can read more about Git. Git is a free and open source distributed version control system. Free and open source means that you can see all the code behind Git. It's being continually improved and developed over time by developers in the community. So if you wanted to, you could suggest an improvement or an update to Git. It is a version control system, so it helps to track versions of your project over time. And Git is very popular, used from small to large projects. As a software developer, regardless of the type of development, you need to know Git. And luckily, Git is easy to learn and they have a lot of documentation. Some of the advantages of Git and some of the features, for example, branching and merging. Git allows you to have multiple local branches with different versions of your project. So you can have version 1 and then have a separate version, perhaps with a new feature, and then you could merge the two versions together when you're happy with them. Git is fast. With Git, operations are performed locally on your computer, so there's a high speed advantage. You can see all of the statistics on the official Git website. Git is also distributed. Instead of doing a checkout of your current code, you do a clone of an entire repository. There are multiple backups, so you won't lose your code. You can use any workflow with Git because it has a distributed nature and a branching system. As well, there is data assurance. The data model that Git uses ensures the cryptographic integrity of your project, so you can get the exact bits that you put in. Also, as long as you make a change, you can't change the history, so you can assure that your data won't be tampered with. Git has a staging area or an index where commits can be formatted and reviewed before completion. So before you submit your update to your code or update to your project, you can put it in a temporary holding area and then you can finally submit it when you're ready. Git is free and open source, so it is a free software. Right, so that is the official web page for Git. Again, you can read more about it at git-scm.com/about. Join me coming up next. We'll talk about how to install Git. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to learn how to install Git on Mac. For the installer, go to the website git-scm.com, the official webpage for Git, /downloads. So this is the downloads tab on the official website. Here you have several options for downloading Git on macOS, Windows, and Linux, commonly known as Unix as well. Then you can select your download from any button, such as on Mac OS if you have a Mac computer. This will work regardless of the chip you have, Intel or M1. There are several options for installing Git on Mac OS. Number 1, with Homebrew. Another option, Mac ports. Another option is with Xcode. Another option is with a binary installer. You can build from the source or install another one, Git GUI. That's an extra one. So the most easy way to install Git is with Homebrew. So previously we installed Homebrew. Brew is available for Mac or Linux. So if you have Brew, you can then use it to install other packages like Git. This is a very common function, one of the primary functions for Brew. So as long as you have Brew, you can use this command, brew install Git. So copy this command, then open the terminal application on your computer. The terminal application comes with every Mac computer. So just pop open the terminal and paste in the command brew install git. You can also type it in. This command means that we are using brew to do something. We're using the command install, which means we're using brew to install something. And then we pass in git because git is the package that we are installing. So in total, we're going to install git. Hit enter to execute the command and the installation will begin. Now, in my case, the installation already happened. So I get the message that git 2.35.1 is already installed and up to date. If you want, you can reinstall with the command reinstall. So I can try brew reinstall git and hit enter. This is going to be likely what you'll see if you are installing git for the first time. So you'll see that we are downloading, installing, and there should be a summary that you now have git at this location on your computer. All right, so you should see that the completions and functions have been installed to a location on your computer. If you get this success message, that means you have git available now. If you get an error message, then read the error message carefully and search it up online so that you can find a solution. If you get any prompts to do any extra steps, then follow those prompts to do those steps. Now you should be able to access git with the command git. So if I type in git into this terminal or any terminal, then I am going to see options or suggestions for what I can do with git. If you don't see git available, then likely you didn't install correctly. Also, you may have to add git to your path variables if you still can't use it in this terminal or a new terminal. And another option is to try restarting your computer or restarting the terminal app to make sure that the changes have been implemented. Sometimes it takes a refresh for the changes to your computer to be implemented. Then you can check your git version with git -- version. So I'm using version 2.35.1. And that is how you can install git on Mac. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to update git on Mac. So to update git on Mac, we are going to first call brew install git. This command is going to install the latest version of git. But if you have a previous version of git already, then your computer will have both versions of git. And by default, you are going to still use the old version. And you can check with git -- version, and you'll see Apple at the end here. You'll see git version 2.35.1 followed by Apple. So I don't see it because this is the latest version. But if you have two versions and you just installed a second one, then if you try to use git, you're still by default using the old version. So if you want to use the new version, which we just installed with this command, then you have to add that version as your path variable. So you have to add it to your environment variables on your computer. For that, you are going to use the following command: export path equals user/local/bin path. This means we are going to take our brew installation path, the link or location of git rather, that we just installed, and we're going to add it to our path variables, which means instead of using the old version of git when we use the git keyword, we're now going to use the new version of git when we use the git keyword. So you hit enter, and now the new version of git is added to our path variables, which means when we use the command git, we're no longer using the old version, we're using the new version. So the key here is to install git again, which will give you two versions, and then to add the new version to your path with this command. And this command is going to take whatever you just installed and add it to your path variables. So this updates the git variable. So now in your terminal, when you use git, that variable has been updated. That variable no longer points to the old version. It now points to the new version. So you only have to do this if you're updating git. If you had a version of git and then you want a new version of git. So that is how you can update Git on Mac. Then you can check your version again with the same command git -- version, and you should see git version 2.35.1, for example, without any Apple text after it. All right, so I can show you an example of what this would look like. Here, you would use brew install git and check the version, and you would see an old version like 2.32.0 Apple git 132, because if you install git twice with a new version, then you'll have the old version and you'll have the new version. So if you want to change your variable to point to the new version instead of the old version, you have to add this command, which is going to update the environment variable git, which is a variable on your computer. It's going to update it to no longer be the old version. It's going to update the variable to be the new version, which you just installed. So this is a summary of what you should see in your terminal. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our course. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to install Git on Windows. Go to the website git-scm.com and click on the Downloads tab. Here you can download the latest version of Git for your computer, Mac, Windows, or Linux. For Windows, click on the Windows installer. This will take you to the Windows installation page. You want to download the installer for your version of Windows. So you can search in the toolbar for bit version and find out what bit version your computer is. Likely it is a 64-bit because 32-bit is outdated. But regardless, choose the correct installer for your computer type. You can click to download that version of Git for Windows. This is going to download a Git followed by the version number, followed by the bit version, which on my computer is a 64-bit, .exe file. So save the file and then open the file. I've opened the file and I get the question, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? You want to select yes, because the app will make changes to your computer in the sense that it will install Git to the computer. Next, read through the public license for Git and hit install. This is going to remove any previous versions of Git that might be on your computer and install the latest version. So just wait a moment for the installation to complete. You have to extract the files required for Git to work, and you can see the location where Git will be on your computer. Next, you'll see this message completing the Git setup wizard. Setup has finished installing Git on your computer. The application may be launched by selecting the installed shortcuts. You can then hit finish, and now you have Git on your Windows computer. To verify that you do have Git, go into your search bar and search for the command prompt application. Here you can interface with your operating system. So if you type in Git, you should now see prompts for suggestions of what you can do with Git. If you don't see this, then read the error message that you have. You may have to install Git again. You may have to add Git as an environment variable to your computer. You may have to restart your terminal or restart your computer. Otherwise, you should be able to see Git options when you use the command git. Typically, Git will be added to your environment variables by default. This means that you can now access Git as a variable, and you can perform commands. For example, you can check what version of Git you have. If you can see your Git version, that means you have Git successfully installed on Windows.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this course. If you want to watch the rest of the course, the link is down below. Not only will you get the access to this course, but you'll get access to a lot of other courses in a huge bundle, and it's on sale today. So buy it before the sale ends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.